Hello, my name is Ilona and today is Monday, January 16th, 2023. First, I just want to mention that my videos will be uploaded later. I've made some changes, so my videos hopefully is of a better quality, but it takes more time to edit and to finish the video so I can upload it to YouTube. So unfortunately I will be a little later, you probably noticed that, and I'm hoping you kind of can see the difference between old videos and newer videos. There is so much coming out now about the stinks that it's almost impossible to keep up with that. The CDC is actually going to investigate links between the stinks and strokes. Very interesting. This is from the Gateway Pundit. Apparently the CDC, there's apparently a link. So they actually are admitting that there is a link. So this is very, very interesting that this is coming out. We have here in the Netherlands, there were questions asked to the Minister of Health, so to speak. Kuipers is his name. And he actually admitted there is a small chance that there is a link between stinks and myocarditis and pericarditis. So this is very interesting that this has been admitted in the Netherlands. Then we have in Sweden a group of 5 senior Swedish doctors who are actually raising the alert about the stinks, which they describe as obviously dangerous. So this is coming out as well. We have a cardiologist, Dr. Asim Malhotra. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing this name wrong. But he actually on mainstream media, on BBC News, was talking about the stinks, and there is likely a factor between the stinks and the cardiovascular deaths. This was very interesting because this segment was about statins, and he managed to put this in there. So more and more things are coming out. I also shared a clip from Tucker Carlson on Fox News throwing out more truth bombs in relation to the stinks, talking about the adverse reactions and the problems with the immune system. More and more is coming out. So really, there's so much coming out now. It's very difficult to start denying this. I also want to talk about what people sent to me about Bill Gates. There was in the EUTimes.net, there was an article that he's talking about forcing the stinks through food. I think I've already looked at that he wants to, inject into animals, and obviously people are going to eat that, and then that's what he's hoping for. They will get the stinks that way. Well, I've looked at that, and to me feels like that's not even possible. If that even was possible, they would have used it by now. They would have used it in our food supply, in our water supply. I already talked about, and many others, that they need a certain temperature, especially if they want the stinks to work. There's this messenger in there, and that's why they needed all these equipment, and they needed a certain temperature. That's not going to happen if they're just going to inject it into an animal. And I've also had a study I've seen about the mother milk, that apparently mother milk has the sting in it, or at least effects of it. And if I'm not mistaken, but I couldn't find the article anymore, this is about the proteins that they found in the mother milk. So to be very honest, I think that has to do with shedding. So it's not possible to transfer this messenger from one person to the other through shedding. But the excess proteins can be shared, and that can damage people, especially if your immune system isn't so well or you're not doing very well. It's, if your energy is high, you don't have to worry about shedding. But if you are in a difficult position, you're surrounded with a lot of people that have been stinked, it's possible you can be affected by it. And certainly babies, when their immune system is still being developed, of course, will have a lot of damage through those proteins. And we've heard about awful things happening, babies dying, and there's so much going on in that. But to be very honest, personally, and that's my own point of view, of course, so you can disagree with that, is that I don't think right now they have the ability to transfer that messenger, which is the most important part, because that's the biggest problem, from one human to another human without the stinks involved. And it also has to do, of course, with free will. We are in a free will zone, and that's, of course, a bigger, how do you say this? This is too big to just explain this in one video. So I just want to keep it to these facts, that I don't think it's possible that way. They would have done that a long time ago. So I just wanted to talk about that. Of course, Davos we have now coming up, and I already saw some messages that Tara by Janine thought that this was going to be one CGI fest, and that there are probably not really people there at the moment. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I don't really watch your videos because, well, it's behind a paywall, and I don't want to be influenced too much, although she of course is my inspiration. I started doing these videos because of Tarot by Janine, so I do feel that way. To me, this feels like a puppet show, one big puppet show, and they of course have all these soldiers there. And to be very honest, I'm not even sure if the soldiers are there to protect the so-called people there, or really to keep them, if there is anyone there, to just shield everything so they can perform their puppet show. So I think a lot of things have happened there. And the cards I got from Davos, just to look at the energy there. The first card was the 10 of Pentacles. The central card was interesting, the 3 of Cups. I've got that, of course, last week for a certain law here in the Netherlands. And I thought it was strange to have this celebration card. In the past, we have the 9 of Swords. Underneath the central card, we have the 7 of Swords. And for the near future, we have the Queen of Cups and the 4 of Pentacles. It's very, very interesting. So to me, it's almost like more of a celebration in a way. I think that I don't think a lot of things are going to happen, but they're going to come out that are going to be very important to waking up people. This is really about the picture they want to show to the outside world. You know, this status quo, they want to show the status that certain people still have, you know, government leaders. I believe even the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, Rutte, is going there, and some other people from his cabinet are following there as well. So from the government. And I think this is really showing again. And they're going to... Things will come out about this, and I think it's very interesting. This is again this card about think that they're going to get away with it. I think that that ship has sailed. I don't think anyone in the dark energies is thinking they're going to get away with anything anymore, but it's going to get very ridiculous. That's the feeling I'm getting. So that's probably to celebrate about that this really is a puppet show, and what we're seeing is pretty much fake, and what's coming out will be kind of nonsense. And it's about trusting your own intuition again, what's true, what isn't true. And this is about waking people up again, showing things. They're still trying to maintain a certain power level when really there's not much there. But that's what this is about. It's showing a certain picture, showing a certain, like they're still in control when they're not. So, but they're not going to get away with it ultimately. So I do think there's celebrations involved, but not sure if we're going to see it right away with Davos. But there are things going on there. And I think things are going to come out, and, you know, just the ridiculous things, and just to open people's eyes what this is really about. There was very interesting also here in the Netherlands about the World Economic Forum. It's a clip that I shared. It is in Dutch. Obviously, it was from a Dutch newspaper. And there was a video about a journalist that's been to the World Economic Forum before. And they were joking about all these, theories about the World Economic Forum. Ha ha ha. Yeah, how can they even think that way? But a journalist was actually saying, well, it's, I do understand why they're thinking that way, because there are people in very high positions coming together, making agreements. And it was very interesting. So in that clip, pretty much admitting what all these theories are about the World Economic Forum, well, at the same time trying to make fun of all these theories. It was very interesting. I felt that was a kind of a white hat operation, because you are acknowledging that a lot of things happen there at Davos, and all these people, worldwide leaders and worldwide companies, all come over there, the highest of the highest, so to speak, all come over there talking about things, and of course Maxima was also going to be there. Very interesting, to say the least. But these are things that wake up people, that it's like, hey, what's going on? So they're saying that all these theories aren't true, but at the same time, they're actually kind of admitting that things happen over there. So that's interesting. I also taken a look at the coming energy for this week. What can we expect this week? The first card I got was the Chariot. The second card was the Eight of Cups. And the third card is the Five of Swords. So to me, this feels like we are moving away. This week is going to be very important. Things will happen that will move away. These are two cards. The Chariot is taking control over life and just getting out of there, leaving. And this is, of course, also a leaving card. So I think we are leaving things behind. But it can still get very grim. This is a very grim power play. So there's still things coming out that that will lead to other things, so that people can move away from things. So I do believe that things that can come out, maybe even from Davos, certain agreements that may come out that will be really very, about power trips, showing that they have no respect for us, things like that. Or maybe something happens this coming week that has to do with a grim energy, something that's very grim, like a power trip. But we are moving away from that. So things will happen this week that will start moving away. It wouldn't surprise me with Mr. B, of course, with all his documents that apparently he's been hiding everywhere, that this is the beginning of the end of him, and that they will try to remove him. That's the feeling I'm getting anyway. So we've been waiting for that, obviously. I also got 3 cards for advice, just general advice. The Sun, the Emperor, and the Knight of Wands. Of course, this is like the white hat card, but to me this also signifies trust. Trust. Where do you trust the plan? Do you not trust? Of course, there are people that do not believe in the white hats. And of course, everyone has the right to follow their own belief systems. But I do believe it is time to make choices. So if you, in a way, believe in the white hats, but if something happens and you're confused again and doubting things, really make a decision which path you're going to follow. Very important. Also, enjoy your life. The Sun is so important to also start enjoying, because that will raise your energy. And it's very important that we do raise our energies. So expect to make some, decisions this week. See if people really feel right, really resonate with you. If you, the situations you're in, just make decisions and stick to that. And especially trust. I think it's very important that we trust. So things can still start to look ugly this week, but it's important that we trust and that we do things that are good to us, that we treat ourselves in a good way, and do things that are, feel good to us. It's very important that we treat ourselves right, because it raises our energy, and that's very important right now in the world to really start shining. So I'd like to leave it at this, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.